right, so we are testing out our live, and this is the first time that we've been going on live. And I'm figuring stuff out. Anyway, this is just a trial and figure out my internet connectivity. And while we'll be doing that, we will be painting up our Space Marines, or rather my Black Templar over here. And I believe I am over, and I'm going to be painting over my Ultimate Glare Gray. So just like find my Ultimate Gray over here. That's going to be our color for today. I'm going to be painting over white areas. And ironically, I forgot how I painted my Black Templars back in the days. But I did not paint the pauldrons white. So this will be quite the interesting Black Templar guy. He's a character, so I'll sort of excuse him for not following Black Templar code. We'll just be painting this here. So that was here. So I already did the base coat actually, and my Ultimate Gray is very thin, as Ultimate Gray really is. So we're just taking over a third coat to make sure we have good coverage. And when I paint my Black Templars, I like to sort of play with the colors. I mean, it's quite boring, black and red and white. I mean, I guess any color scheme is boring if you paint so much of it. And I just try to keep myself into the miniatures or painting by changing the colors or placement of where the colors are. And that's basically where we are now. Again, this is just a test stream, so for anyone who's joining or who's will be watching this, I'm just trying to get the hang of online live via mobile. And normally what I do in one session is I normally go through all my paint projects, right? So this morning I worked on this guy, which is basically something my mom is asking me to do. And I did a little Song of Ice and Fire miniatures. Almost done with these guys. Then I did a commission piece over here. And then I am doing, or I have done a little ship right here. I'm just fixing the putty, or putting putty on the gaps before I sand that baby down. And you saw me do this, and today we'll work on these guys. So these guys will be interesting because I want to just sort of have a display quality on these guys, but I want to be able to just like have fun and be loose with it. So these are our Night of the Living Dead miniatures, and I want to see the color schemes that I've painted them in. So let's just do a quick Google. Night of the Living Dead. Oh shucks, yeah. Miniatures. I just want to get an idea of the color scheme for the box art, and that's sort of what I'll be basing my colors on. Oh my god, there's so many pop-ups. Ah yes, that should be the color scheme. I should have the okay, so I'll get the cards, and that's all the way down in my area, so I guess I'll take you to where I keep my backlog. And from there, we'll use the cards as a form of color scheme guide. This is my third test today, and when I say test, the reason why we're testing is because I'm just testing out Wi-Fi, and I've been refiguring out my Wi-Fi. Oh, it's slow over here, and it seems like this third configuration, where no one is watching the live stream, has been quite fruitful for me. And anyway, we have our character cards. That's gonna be the basis of what we're doing, and it looks like there's lots of blue. There's lots of blue in this what you call this? Lots of blue in this set. So let's do the blue and get over and done with, so that we do a lot today. All right, so we are back, and we are doing our. So Barbara's blue. This girl doesn't have blue. This girl has 2 to 3 types of blue. This guy has blue. Okay, so wow, we'll be covering a lot. Where's our bald man? Oh, our bald man is also blue. Okay, so I would say Tom and Julie have the same top. Just to keep things simple. Let me wipe the screen. There you go. So I think Harry's polo, Julie's shirt, Tom's shirt, Barbara's top. I think I'll paint them all the same type of light blue. No, let's do Harry's blue. He's got the lightest blue, so we'll have more white. So let's do Harry. Right? Yeah. Oh, there's this black and white version. There you go. So Harry will have the lightest of the blue. We'll do him for this session. And if there's time, let's do the blue for the others. So let's grab all the blues that we have. And I think this is gonna be his base blue, Fenrisian, right? And we'll work our way up to an Ulthuan. I think is the way to go. Or maybe that was Ulthuan, Gris maybe. So these 2 colors only? Do I have a darker blue? Will this be an okay dark blue? Let's see. Because these 2 are very, very close. Yeah. I'll just do this as a base coat color, right? I should take note of this. Ugh. So my palette is very, very messy. Let's take our Thunderhawk blue. And I'll be base coating this. This is our shadow color. And my palette is so disorganized. That is my Arcus Sweat palette. And, oh, he has a tie. Okay, the tie will be, well, why is everyone wearing blue here? This is such a boring color scheme. But okay, for the exercises to it. So I just want like a muted blue, because it's kind of pale, right? So that's going to be a shadow color. And yeah, so we're going to sort of just cover that on. Let's zoom it in so you guys can see. There you go. Nice. You can see what I see, and you can judge how crappy my paint job is, but again, we're just having fun. Or maybe I'm having fun. I hope I'm not tricking you guys with how I'm painting. But yeah, we're just having fun. Practicing sort of painting within the lines. Because when I do army painting or batch painting like this, I just like slaughter everything on top of each other. And I get neater as I build up the base coats. And here I'm just trying to practice my layering by being more, what's the word, intentional with how I move my brush and how I stay within the line, so I'm not trying to overlap. This guy doesn't have a belt, he doesn't, so it's very old school. So, oops, there we go. Maybe I should zoom that out a bit. You guys can see. Let's zoom it out some more. So that black undercoat will help us establish a shadow, or rather, yeah, any part that I miss can be like mistaken for a shadow. And even if we're just base coating, I guess it's good practice to just know the sections, and even like most of it will be blue. Practicing with a big brush can sort of give us that dexterity we'll need when we move to a smaller brush and we move to finer details such as highlights and layers. But for now, we'll roll with this brush. We'll do a second pass from the looks of it. Definitely you can see how things aren't as opaque. The primer I use is actually not my ideal primer here too. I just got a black spray can and it turned out to be quite glossy, but it's still acrylic, so whatever paint I apply sticks on there, which is great. So I'm digging this color. I mean, it's a nice, it's a bit greenish, but we are using this as a shadow color, and this will really be the actual color for everything. So let me give this a rinse, and then let me figure out another pass right here. Has it dried? Not so much. All right, this is why we take well, it's kind of dried. Okay. This is why we take a blow dryer. And my approach here is really to get a high contrast. That's why my shadow is quite stark. I want to get that high contrast in. Apologies for the noise. Actually, you know what? Let's go on mute, just so you guys. Yeah, let's mute. We are back. We are going to be reapplying a second coat just to get like a nice solid shadow or cool shadow before we apply our actual base tone. Here we go. There you go. That's the coverage we need. Maybe I'm just gonna paint above areas and maybe just leave the bottom areas with just one coat. Maybe. Yeah. Simulate some darkness in that area. This looks like he needs a third coat. But actually, no. Let's leave it at 2 coats so that we will have room for a darker area. Oh, I realized that. holding this in a specific location, holding the mini, is quite the skill I'll need to start streaming at a good quality or good pace. Okay, so we got that good blue. That's I would say it's an okay choice of color. Yep. There you go. There is Mr. Harry in his dark polo. Harry, now Harry, what say you? We brighten up that polo. The challenge here now is how much of that color do I want to leave? Not a lot, I would assume, but let's here's to hoping I can get that coverage I'm looking for. I'm actually not sure if I'm gonna go with my highlight color. Oh, that's gummy. That is too much paint too. Yeah, I gotta work on my paint palette management. Okay, so I am also going to blow dry him again so I can decide how I want to highlight this guy. Yeah, I do want to leave some areas in the shade, so I will swap to a smaller brush, and that smaller brush is here. I'm just using synthetic brushes, and I will mute this guy again. Very good. Now, I don't want to complicate these pieces so much because they are play pieces, but I just want them to look like pretty. So I'll just try to stick to a triad color or three colors here. A shadow color, a base color, and the highlight. So we're going for chunky blocky, hoping that the texture of the miniature will make everything believable. So here we go. This is where we start to draw the shape of everything. And of course the tip of my brush is not that great. Yeah. And we do need more coverage for this blue, apparently. Yeah, that's not good coverage. Although we are able to paint or sketch in what we need. This is going to be tricky, but not impossible. I want to just draw in where, oops, we got like a random strand. Draw in where you will be. There we go. Just leave that there, leave this here. I'm gonna leave that top portion unpainted. Right. We're just sketching in the raised areas very, very poorly, if I might add. But I'm hoping that the sketches will build on as we build on layers of this paint. So this is a layer paint, so who was I to start expecting good coverage from this? But yeah, I'm just doing some strokes, hoping it only catches the raised areas, because I do like the idea that I'm leaving those grooves in, but I feel like I'm painting the grooves in more than I am painting them. So there's that. Yeah, I'm just sketching that on. So yeah. There we go, sketching on those highlights. And then here, we're sketching that on as well. In fact, I think we're not putting enough paint. But yeah, I'm just a bit afraid that too much of the paint will fall into the crevice. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. I'm going to try and keep that area bright. I mean, not taken. If you know what I mean. There you go. That's the coverage we're talking about. That I'm also afraid of, because I don't want it to eat up on the shadows I'm sketching in. There you go. So his polo is sort of sketched in. The areas that I want to leave as shadow will remain a shadow. So I'll just do a second coat of that, and that will be that. Then we can move to the highlight. That should be Harry in his not so style. Actually, he's got some style. I just hate the character. I mean, Harry's an asshole, right? And every zombie movie needs that asshole, or else it would be exciting. So, stylish Harry is getting some highlights here. I'm definitely changing my brush later, but this is gonna be probably 3 coats. We'll go more opaque as we get into the layers, but I want to leave those rough edges that I sketched in. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. That shape of, like, yeah, that's the shapes I'm looking for. There it is. Okay, I'm feeling very, very happy despite this being like a live thing. I mean, I'm happy this is a live thing, but very, very happy how it's turning out. I want to start using this project as a way to practice painting without washes, because I use washes a lot because I have started with army painting, but I see a lot of models and I see the advantages of just, painting highlights upwards, and that's beautiful. I like that. I like that it's only catching the raised areas despite my massive freaking brush that I'm... Okay, I've got disconnected. Okay, here we are. We have it there. Maybe we'll do one more layer, one more pass of this base coat, just to get it more defined and really get those shapes, those shadows, those highlights in before we move into like a stronger highlight. And this won't be an edge highlight, of course, because this is a smooth surface. Well, there probably will be some. There you go. That's beautiful. That's what we're looking for, baby. Yeah, so even here, even if it's one color, I'm just layering on where I want the light to be stronger. And I'm not layering on so much the areas that I know will be a bit dark. There you go. And his back is actually a lot better. Okay. I'll just do the polo and I'll sign off because I am 8%. I'm gonna assume my connectivity got better with my changes, which I hope it did. And I'm only losing connectivity because I'm low battery. But if all goes well, I'll probably do this more often, guys, with a better production value, a better concept, and not just, like, me coming on and just painting whatever. So I moved into a smaller brush, an even smaller brush. Is it smaller? Yeah, a smaller synthetic brush. Did I use an expensive brush for this? Is the question. I don't believe I did. I don't believe I did. So, anyway, going back here. Maybe I should. So here I want to do like larger highlights, but of the... There you go. I don't know if that's visible, but we're doing stronger highlights. And we are emphasizing here the areas that I want emphasized by the light. And then we'll pretty much do the same thing that we did with the other color, just in a small area, because I do want to add like emphasis on the wrinkles and that it is dominantly white. So the error here might have been maybe I could have used a darker or a brighter base coat, especially with how I am highlighting him. This probably should have been the highlight, or this would have been the base color I'm using now, but it is what it is, right? Okay, so that's him, that's his highlights, and we'll do this one because he's got flames coming on. Yeah, but I want to emphasize this part, make this a bit more solid, really sell the fact that it's a white polo. So we'll add more white there. Right. Is that selling it? Yeah. I'll just make that solid and then call it a day. Yeah. Define that edges, make it more clear. Apologize if it's not visible. This is my first time doing this on camera, and I hope it still looks good. All right, so there's like that contrast I was going for. I just got a weird, that's weird, right? That bicep part, that's weird, right? Yeah, that bicep part is weird. Yeah, it is. That sucks because I've been wanting to like preserve the shadow part or the wrinkles. So what I'll do instead is I'll paint over it just to even it out or not make it look so drastic. And then I'll go back to my Fenrisian blue and I will see if I can blend in some of that. Just to... I just gave him some muscles. Indirect muscles, but alright. I mean, he's... Okay, that's the contrast we're going for. Anyway, guys, it's basically the practice run we're going for. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you. Now, how do I stop? This is the question. Okay.